Pelicans in Sacramento. Zion with the steal and the dunk. Pels a game a bit above the play-in now, bro. Ingram coming back this weekend. Yeah, he went out for a little bit, but he's okay. You feeling confident in the Pelicans a little bit?
They got something going. I don't know how deep they'll go this year, but they're definitely a team to watch in the future, assuming Zion stays healthy.
Royals up 9-1 on the Astros for the Weird. Bobby Witt Jr. maintains his concentration as he's leapfrogged by Lofton. Royals win 13-3. They're 9-4. Meanwhile, the Astros lose again, struggling. Got to turn it around. Wonderful Jazz rocket. A THT sighting. Remember when THT was going to be the future of the Lakers? This one on Cam Whitmore for the slam. Jazz get their 30th win. Congratulations, Utah. 30 wins. Rockets just out there exercising at this point. Wonderful. Jalen Brunson in Boston. It's going to go down as a 4-point play. He ends the night with 39. Last two games, 45 and 43. Brew, any concern that the Celtics seem to be sliding a bit since clinching the East?
I think it's human nature to relax, and all these other teams are playing for playoff positioning. I wouldn't, if they're just going to get out there and lollygag, though, maybe sit your stars rather than having to go out there and lose. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's what they're doing.
Rangers A's. Mason Miller hits 103 on the gun. Now, when I was growing up, this would be front page news on the newspaper that would be delivered to my home. But now it's just as the second to last highlight in Weird and Wonderful, bro.
Well, they're all throwing heat now. And there's a lot of concern about this.
I know.
A lot of hand-wringing about how hard these guys are throwing, and that's why you got so many elbow injuries.
Pedro figured it all out.
I guess so.
He did. He said, you don't lift too many weights, work on your ligaments. Don't try to go max velocity all the time. It's very interesting.
Learn how to pitch.
But Nick won't let us put, real pitching.
Yeah, real pitching.
But it's also a little bit of
choose your spots.
Verlander says the ball's a little hot. And finally, let's go to Kansas City. It's the Chiefs raising their Super Bowl banner within the practice facility. Not to be outdone, the Bill said we are going to do that as well. I like this. Do you still? I don't know if the Bills are taking. I'm guessing that they did not take that one down from last year. You don't love that.
I don't know. I think
they better take it down.
I don't think so.
They took all the signs down in New England. They could take that down.
All right, that's Weird and Wonderful from the National Pastimes. Less than 2 weeks away from the draft. Caleb, Jaden, and Drake, the consensus top three. But hold on, stop the pressers. Coach Mangini has been grinding the all-22, and his top three is a little bit different. Coach, tell us who you like and why.
So as you look at the quarterbacks, it's a little different evaluating them just off tape as opposed to being a head coach where you actually get to spend time with the guys and meet with the guys. And there's a whole process that goes into it where you get to know their personality, how well they understand the offense. So there's that element of it. But from just watching the tape, really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the plays that the guys should make. Okay, the standard plays, whether it's wide routes, shallow crosses, slants, the route tree, plays that you would expect a frontline quarterback to be able to make. Then there's the plays that the guys shouldn't make. So how many decisions does he throw it into double coverage? Does he take chances that are unnecessary chances? Those plays that where you look at that could lose the game, and you want to see what kind of decision maker he is there. And then there's the plays that the guy makes that others can't make. And those are the special plays, and the more of those that show up, the higher the guy goes because you know that he has a chance to win the game on his own. And he has a chance to change the dynamic of the franchise with his unique skill set. And so it pains me in a way to give you my first guy. And look, I'm not unique in this, but I know that Nick's been putting him on Mahomes Mountain throughout the course of the season. And it's very difficult for me to agree with him wholeheartedly. But Caleb is a great example of the guy that can make all the standard throws. And he makes a bunch of throws that other people can't. Similar to Patrick Mahomes, those off schedule, out of the pocket, incredible plays where you're thinking, okay, those are going to go win games for us. Now, where my greatest concern comes with Caleb is the plays that he shouldn't make. And there, right now in college football, he gets away with a lot of that. But in pro football, the windows are smaller, the guys are better, the level of defenses you're playing against are a lot more complex, and what you're asked to do is a lot more complex. So I hope that he doesn't just become a make something happen guy, where he's making something happen for the Bears, but he's also making something happen too frequently for their opponents. But from a pure skill set standpoint, he was my number one. My number two was Jaden Daniels, and I didn't know what to expect going into this, and after putting on the tape, he made a bunch of the plays that you should make, and the plays that you shouldn't make, there weren't very many of. I thought processing and decision making was very good. Throws a catchable ball, and then there's a bunch of those plays that are unique. Those wow plays that you see from Caleb Williams, you see from him as well. And I don't know what his 40 time is, but he's fast.
Right.
He's ridiculously fast. So when he escapes from the pocket, the amount of ground that he can cover is impressive. And he makes the wild plays with his arm, and he makes the wild plays with his feet as well. Now he's 6'4", 210, so he does get blown up sometimes when he gets hit, and there's a concern about that.
Yeah.
But you can't make a guy grow anymore, but you can put weight on him. You can lift weights. You can get up to 220, 225 without losing a ton of speed. And he was exciting to watch, and I could see why people are excited to have him. My third guy is different than I think a lot of people. I like Michael Penix from Washington.
Wow.
And it was interesting. I read an article recently about how much disagreement there was between coaches and scouts on this player, where coaches tend to lean into him, where scouts tend to like Drake May a little bit more from a potential standpoint. But I watched him against Michigan, and after watching the game, I was like, wasn't sold on him, and was a little bit disappointed with what I saw. But Michigan made a lot of quarterbacks look disappointing. But then you throw on the Texas tape, and it's like he's lighting them up. And Texas was, I think, 13th in the nation in scoring defense, but it's play after play of not just really good decisions and good throws, but some of those throws where you're thinking, I can see this guy winning a lot of games for us. Now, the concern I have is he streaky? Is he one of those guys where when he's off, he's really off, and when he's hot, he's red hot, and you don't want that. But if you like this guy and you just watch the Texas game, and you can easily fall in love with him.
Wow. Well, I like your list, Coach. I agree on the first two, and for those reasons. And Penix, also the health is a concern.
Yeah, that's been a concern, but
obviously
he got a clear bill of health at the combine, recheck in the combine.
But I got number three. It's not Drake May. It's J.J. McCarthy. Because he, I think, is on time, Coach. Like, he's on schedule. And I think some people looking at the success of a Brock Purdy, I think they're looking at this guy, Kevin O'Connor, if he gets him in Minnesota, he's from the McVay, Shanahan tree, and they want guys, go out there and do what I'm asking you to do. And I think he's got the athleticism where he can make some plays here and there off schedule. But I just think I got him third. May, now it's good for a lot of these guys to sit for a year, but there's a lot of talk about May needs to sit a year. We know he's got the strong arm. Some of the mechanics, you may question. And we've seen a lot of guys with strong arms, but lacking in other areas, and they don't pan out to be great quarterbacks.
And when you bring up Brock Purdy, that's a good comparison, but remember what you paid for him. And for me, like a franchise quarterback is like going to a good restaurant. When I leave, I want to be able to tell my friends about some of the courses I had. I want to be excited about having those courses again because you paid a lot of money for it. So if you're going to take a player like that high and you're going to pay that price, you want to be able to get some things. You want to be excited about the things that he can create and not just take a step back and say, well, he can deliver the ball on time. And I like Jim Harbaugh a lot and respect him, but in watching the national championship game, I felt like they won maybe a little bit in spite of him as opposed to because of him.
They didn't throw it a lot. Where do you have McCarthy ranked in?
That group is kind of together. And with Drake May, it felt a little bit like Sam Darnold. Okay, so Sam Darnold, his last year, had 29 sacks.
Yikes.
Drake May has 29 sacks. Darnold had like 26 touchdowns and 13 picks. And I think Drake May has like 24 touchdowns and 9 picks. So there's some similarities there where I just, you watch it and that's the feeling I had coming away from it.
Quickly, we have 15 seconds. Penix will be 24 in May. Is that a plus or a negative for you?
You'd always want your quarterbacks a little bit younger, but his journey was different because of the injuries. And, you know, it's not like, I forget who it was that the Browns drafted who was 28 years old. It's not that situation.
Yeah, Whedon.
So at Whedon. So at 24, I don't think that maturity in coming into a locker room that's going to be filled with men is the worst thing in the world.
Okay, I like that. Coming up next, we're talking about the Lakers and why Brew wants them to face the Warriors and a very small Allen Iverson statue.